Thank you for listening to my podcast. Like my page on Facebook for daily inspirational quotes with pictures from Indian country and for other podcast interviews with successful Native or Indigenous people. Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III, and I'm here with Charlaine Tso, who is running for a seat on Navajo Nation Council for Tuathacan, Red Mesa, Mexican Water, Aneth, and East Nusbus. Thanks for being on the show.
Peter, and your listeners, the viewers,
Oh, Biga. So tell me about yourself, your clans, where you come from. Hana and Na.
Charlaine Tso, Tuathacan, Nadine Sos Ishnachai, not the Nan Shlom, but Akibashin, Kachini, Dashat Shake, Kithini, Dashanale, Kutai, San I'm a graduate of Red Mesa High School. I graduated in 2008. I left for college. I went to Crete, Nebraska. I attended a private liberal arts school called Doane University. At the time, it was Doane College. Just a couple of years ago, they changed it to Doane University. At Doane, I studied theater and English. I earned my BA. While I was in Crete, Nebraska, while I was an undergraduate, I did an internship with National Geographic. That was part of the All Roads Film Project. All different tribes, they're making indigenous films to preserve their culture or language. I was doing grant writing. And getting money for their films. After that, close to my senior year, I left for Spain for an interterm. I came back, graduated, got my BA, and came back to the Four Corners, worked with a few dealerships, and I'm sure I'm known to a few people that my name is familiar in some local businesses. And people started to ask me to speak for the youth events, juvenile detention centers, youth programs. They asked me to be a motivational speaker. I went to a lot of motivational speaking events. People started asking me to attend political campaign rallies and to get involved with that. And then political figures started to ask me to speak on their behalf and advocate for them. Michelle Lujan Grisham, Deborah Holland, Joe Shirley Jr., they asked me to work on behalf of them to be an ambassador. Just this past election, I felt Hillary Clinton. I was a Native American youth ambassador for her. I would reach out to communities, make sure that our Native youth voters were registered, and make sure that they know the platform of Hillary Clinton. And we made sure that they were aware of the campaign events on the reservation. And I just put the word out there, just as any campaign event. I worked for some well-known politicians. Just briefly, that's how I got in, and then that's when I decided to throw my hat in for council delegate for Tuathacan, East Nusbus, Aneth, Mexican Water, and Red Mesa. So.
Wow, that's awesome. So, do you think your path to leadership was challenging?
In some areas, yes, because the old saying, of course, it's a huge taboo in some areas. So that was a hurdle that I had to overcome. And so going back to that, we have to reach back to our grandparents. I told my grandmother, and So shumasana ano before the Twin Warriors, before they killed the monsters, the giants. Before they did that, the internet they were gonna have a sananat ani indo gli that named it, but just before that decision was made, the Twin Warriors slayed the monsters, and then power was not restored to Navajo woman. And so with that kept at mind, and then they said when there's no point of restoring the Navajo Nation and Navajo people, at some point in our future, a Navajo woman will bring restoration with authority and power, and she will be a leader again. So with that in mind, and from my grandmother, she's 100 years old. Here, Navajo woman, only speaks Navajo. With that told to me, it gives me the strength and courage to keep pressing forward with my political career. That is one obstacle that I have come across. And of course, as anybody knows, in my area, I'm running against 3 men. They've been in office, they've been in politics. But it's challenging for them to see a new Navajo, especially younger female, to take on that position. It's frightening to them because they think that she's not experienced enough. She cannot talk Navajo enough. There are so many things that were thrown in my way. But when I come back before them, I pretty much just lay it out all there. And then so when people see that, they are very impressed. Sure. That's what they would say to me. So in return, I just try to have my actions do the talking rather than just trying to impress people with a platform. So I think those are the 2 major hurdles that I have come across.
Wow, that's so powerful, and I like the work that you're doing. I think I have 3 daughters, 24, 12, and 13 and a 10-year-old. But those are the things that I talk about with my girls. Is that I think there should be a balance. I think the idea of having a male leader only is a colonial paradigm that was placed upon us, by the people that conquered us. So I feel like there has to be a balance there. There's the male and there's a female component to leadership, and I think that's important, and I respect that you're doing that work out there. So in your eyes, what makes a good leader?
Honesty and listening. We have so many political leaders in general, that do not have the listening skill to actually remain silent and mute for a moment, to actually hear the voice and the concern. Yes, we're able to just quickly respond with an answer to an issue. That's not the way it should be. As any viewer would see in my Facebook page, listening is gonna be the foreground of everything. It's gonna help us determine the problems and help us determine how to fix those problems and go about them. And if we don't listen, how are we going to fix anything at all? Yes, a lot of people will be like, I'm going into this position, but they're not really listening to the issues that are major and at large within our tribe, especially with our elders. So those are the 2 major components, that major characteristics that I think leaders should have. And persistence to keep on doing what is right, having that integrity to do what is right at all times. Yes, sometimes decisions may be hard to do and to make and go about, but integrity is where everything comes together, doing the right thing when you are challenged.
That's awesome. I actually just did a post a couple days ago about leadership, and leadership is about the people you serve and what they want. I like that. So, taking a look at nature versus nurture, do you think you were born a leader, or do you think you learned to become a leader?
I think it's both, half and half. You know, so many of us have the aspiration and determination. And it's common sense too to see that, you know, as a young adult, you look around into your community, you know what is not right. Are you just going to stand back and not do anything and help your family or your community members? So I took that initiative. So that's one part. And the other, I've been around role models all my life. My mother was an educator for 30 years. She was a school board member. To have her juggle that and to work on getting her degrees and raising me and my 3 older brothers and, you know, just attending to family life at home and traveling back an hour and 30 minutes every day back to work and tending to us children. That was the greatest example, my mother. She told me that whatever you want to do, I will always support you. But remember, you have people here that need you. Are you going to do something about it? And so with that in mind, I kept that all in thought throughout the years when I left high school. And so it works both ways. It's half and half. Besides that, you know, I've had outspoken family members in my family that the community look up to. My grandmother was a huge role model for me as well. Just going back a brief detail, she and my grandfather, they had an arranged marriage. She was 15 and he was a lot older, and they stuck it out until he passed away. And they had over 1,200 sheep on their land. They had a wide amount of range of land in Tuathacan. So the livestock reduction happened. And so their livestock, their cows, their sheep, their horses were shot in front of them, and some were taken off. So my grandmother became a voice at that time to try to demand some sort of payment for what they had lost, because then and now it's still our livelihood. So my grandparents fought with that. And that in mind, knowing what my grandparents had went through, I'm not just going to let that go to waste. I'm going to make sure that I do my part and make sure that we receive some sort of compensation, whether it's me returning back to my community and paying them back. I just need this to be equaled out, and I need my community to be served, and I want to serve them through the government and make sure that they are well taken care of.
Wow, I like the way you stated that. Oh, by the way, I'm Tachini and Kilechini, so I think your Nali and your Che are Kilechini or Tachini, right?
You're my Che.
That's awesome.
Very nice. I need more Che's.
Yeah. So that's great. So what inspired you to run for Navajo Nation Council?
There's so many issues. It starts with my community. Again, when I moved back, throughout my life, I grew up without electricity and water. It wasn't until I left for college, in my sophomore year in college, my mother and my grandmother received electricity. And I look around, there's so many grandparents that are in dire need. Just this past winter, there are stories of an elder that, froze to death. She didn't have the proper resources to make it through the winter season. And how can we just let this happen? I came back, I saw that in the news, and it was by word of mouth in our community, and that just broke my heart. We have community members, we have what is going on? None of this is picking up. So that really struck a lot of interest and a lot of somewhat anger and disappointment. So, and then going back, there's a lot of things that we need. Head Start programs. Our education programs are not thriving. Head Start programs in my community are no longer active. Elders are being abused and mistreated, and they're taken away to places like Albuquerque, Denver for nursing homes. Why are we sending them away when we should be around them and nurture them and love them and take care of them? So those are some of the things that are part of my platform, which will be thoroughly discussed on my page and at my next rally. nursing homes. I want to keep our elders near us. I mean, they took care of us. They nurtured us. So throughout our younger years, they taught us the way of life. And then we're just going to send them away? That doesn't sit well with me. And the other thing, too, is I just want to make a change. If I can do something, I know that I have that ability. I can hold that position. And I have that determination and persistence to make that change. I'm going to do it. One thing that I'm well known for in my family is that whatever I set out to do, I've always accomplished it. No matter how hard and challenging it was, people are like, Nila, you said you were going to do this. Inla. You said you were going to do this. Inlala. Ni adenila. Ako. I'm never going to doubt you. On the kid the shot. I'm going to support you. Ida. I'm going to support you. So that's how my community came back, and they supported me and they pushed me to move forward with this. So, you know the old saying, even community members, let's send them away. Let's make sure they get their diplomas. Is that just false, what they're saying? No, I'm a younger woman. I'm educated. I made the experience. I left my mark in literally different places in different countries. I made a difference. Now, dapat sotazen kut dadits so ako your sotazen prayers are answered. Dadi yid as of today, because me, a young woman, I'm back. I'm coming back to serve my community. That's all I have to say with that.
Wow, that's powerful. There's a couple of things I liked in there. So one of them is, can you tell me what were keys to you setting your goals? I mean, you've already talked about accomplishing them, but what were keys to you setting goals?
Let me kind of go back on that. There's so many inspirations as to why I set out to accomplish so many. My grandmother, again, the way they suffered, and I want to make sure that she lives to see some of the things that I do for her. And it's not just for her, but it's for other elders in my community. They are the key to everything, as well as with our children. The key to the past, the key to the future. Their teachings move us forward. And the other thing is, too, one of the major reasons why I set out these accomplishments is because my life is valuable. I'm put here for a reason, as well as anybody. We're supposed to tell them, this is how you should be. See, Hassan, move forward with that. With that teaching in mind and remaining humble, I want to do something with my life. I need to do something with my life. My life was given by God Almighty, the creators, and I'm put here on Mother Earth for a reason. So I'm going to make the most of my life and make a difference. I'm not going to waste my life. Again, so that, and the other inspiration is my nieces, my nephews. My nieces, they look up to me and they say, I look up to her. I'm going to be like her. I'm going to be like her. I want to be an example for the next future generation. So then that way, they're motivated to do something with their lives and with their people. That they're motivated not to waste their life, and that they're motivated to keep pressing forward with education. Those are the main top 3 reasons why I do set out these major accomplishments before me.
So it sounds like you live by the saying,
Exactly. That is my motto in life.
Yeah. Yep. So another thing that I like, and I think 2 years ago, I was put on the NAPI board. The president nominated me, but council approved my legislation, right? However, they weren't too happy. Like, there was another guy on the board that also is highly educated, and we both went before council, and they didn't like that we were educated. Like, that stuff doesn't belong here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And my mom went and my aunt went, and they're like, why did they push for our youth to get educated? And then whenever they come back to help the people, then they criticize them for getting educated. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Have you run into that? Have you run into that?
I've always been a victim to that since I moved back. Again, that's where I'm saying. And at every event that I go to, I remind them, Sean, you were saying this. Did you not mean it? Or was it not pure of heart? And I tell them, how are we supposed to come back and use our education, whatever experiences we have attained? How are we supposed to come back and apply that to you if you're not going to allow us to? How is anything going to ever change? Do you like it? Do you want it to remain the same? Are you satisfied with that? I tell them that. And I tell them, if it's the same leaders that are elected, the ones that are not educated, are you willing to have everything remain the same? Education, standards, moral values, even youtheism, people that are very young, it intimidates people. It does. Especially those that are in politics right now, it intimidates people, but it shouldn't. But rather they should be proud in embracing us and accepting that change. Because if we don't have any change, if we don't have any leaders now taking over our generation, our people, they're never going to move forward. It's just going to be the same old thought, the old morals, the old teachings, the old values. We need new modern advancement. So I tell them that. Ako. So there's an or you mean it? You're making fun of our people. So, and I tell them that. And then when I tell them that, they don't have anything to say. But rather, since I've been bringing that into light in my discussions, people have been applauding that. So it seems like we just have to keep pressuring that for the people that are out there that are criticizing and that are intimidated. We need to tell them not to worry. Give us a chance. We got this. We will learn as we go, as everybody does. Give us a chance. Let us be that voice. And you said, let our youth be our future. Well, we are the future. The future is now, too.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. So, I have another question for you. What does ajooba mean to you?
Compassion. Compassion and putting others before you. Putting their concerns, their needs, their problems, their pain before yours. If somebody's starving and you have a meal, give them your food. Compassion. Taking care of others before you take care of yourself. That's how I see it.
Nice, I like that. I have another one. What about huijeongs?
Okay. Pure of heart, well-being. And it comes back to the old teaching. When you shake somebody's hand, in my hand is my thought, my positive thoughts, my power, my mindset, my goals. We make money, we make a living with our hands. Very sacred, the yenigot. That's what my grandmother tells me. So when we shake hands, I'm sharing that wealth, knowledge, wisdom with the person that I'm shaking hands with. And that comes pure from heart. So when I grab a hand and I shake their hand, I'm sure to grab a full grips so that I can bless them as well. And that's coming from the heart. Means putting differences aside, seeing the same set of views, and moving our people forward. All differences aside, nothing bad should come into light, but rather we should be holy and humble and then accepting one another with love.
Nice, I like that. Last one. These are kind of like on the Navajo teachings.
Yes.
What does hozhó mean to you?
Hozhó. Integrity. Poise. I describe those two as hozhó. poised, to be humble, to be graceful, to be honest, all the great qualities and attributes a person could possibly have, and sharing it with the world. It's undiense. Yeah, I'm sure you heard that expression. You could see it when somebody walks by, and it just, that light, that ray of light reflects out into the atmosphere, into the environment, to the people nearby. Hozhó means purity, happiness, joy, and no corruption, no judgment, no criticism. Hozhó means just pure love for me. Loving one another. And that's all I can say right now.
Nice.
That's how I've always described it with my grandparents. And again, my grandparents were there, as well as with my mother, my father. All that I am is because of them.
Nice. That's powerful. So, in your opinion, what does the future look like for Navajo people?
I'm going to remain hopeful for the future. Right now, according to old teachings, it's not going to be leading the good way. And I know that, everything is happening bad. Everything is revolving in a circular motion, the same problems, the same issues. But I'm going to remain hopeful that our people will allow us young people, young leaders, to take the reins, give us the chance. And I'm speaking to all your viewers here. Give us the chance to lead our people. And again, with our kids, one thing I take pride in is our children. Some go into like Haskell, some go to NYU, some go to USC, some go to ASU. I take a lot of pride in knowing that. And I'm going to remain hopeful in them that they will come back and help us. Our future today is very unsure. We have so many different leaders with different perspectives. But if we can find a way to come together and pretty much compromise with youth, modern thoughts, old traditional core values, biga, we will move our people forward. Biga, there's no problems there. Biga. That's all I can say to you and my fellow people. And shidana.
Nice. What does it mean to be a modern Navajo?
Modern Navajo. I had this discussion just the other day with a supporter of mine. Because modern Navajo, it's having that core value, teachings, upbringing, and heart. It's what help us remains grassroots. We've used that term so many times, grassroots. It helps us remain grassroots and humble, but the world is constantly changing. We're finding new discoveries. We find everything new every day, new creations, new technology. So with that, a modern Navajo picks at everything, and they mold themselves into something great, something better. That's how I see a modern Navajo. But deep in their heart, in their upbringing, is grassroots and true traditional value upbringing.
Wow, I like that. The reason why I asked is because I feel, at least for me in my life, like I moved away for school. I moved to Illinois, to Wisconsin, to Pennsylvania, right? But I kept coming back. I kept coming back to the Four Corners to work and to help the community. But I feel like when I was away, I relied more on my culture and my traditional teachings. But the thing is, whenever you're here, whenever you're living it, you kind of, I guess, take it for granted a little bit, right?
Yes.
You forget that it's there. And I think when I was in Wisconsin, like that, I worked with the 7 tribes up there. And, they're really trying to hold on to their culture, just, the few, the 50, 60 words that they know, or the traditional, the elders that have the language still. Like they're they're a resource, and they place a lot of emphasis on it. But then I'm like, wow, like people are really holding on to their culture and their values. So it kind of like kicked me back into gear, saying, hey, this is important, right? This is
Yes.
important for us. And I think that's why I asked that question, because I feel like as a modern native, we have to be successful in both. We have to be successful in the way mainstream, and then we can't just be successful in one because we're half Navajo or we're full Navajo, but we live in a Balagana world, right?
Yes.
So we have to balance both of those worlds.
Let me elaborate on that, because I'm just going to go back in reference to the movie Selena. The father's like, we got to be Mexican American and white American. It goes like that for us. We have to be Native American, grassroots at heart. We got to learn Balagana. We have to educate ourselves. We have to learn this way, Zad, so that we are not stuck in the middle. We need to be the best of both worlds. It's exhausting, but it is going to be tremendously valuable to our people. So that's how I see it too. A modern, same scenario. I left the school that I attended in Crete, Nebraska. I was the only Native American among thousands of other students. Majority, maybe 90%, were white, and there were only maybe 15 black students at the most, and that's just my guess. I don't remember fully, but I'm the only Native American there. So with that, you kind of forget your son. You kind of forget how to talk Navajo. The next, it would become just a little bit complicated at times. But at that point, my mom said, you're going to relearn it. I said, you focus on that. Yego intra. Yego Bilagana Bazad. Both these Ada squat ishi. Yandan Lenigi. Didi les. Ado Nakandi das. And then we'll combine the two of the best of both worlds hit Ninigi. And then you can help your people. So, yes.
Right. I like that. So whenever you break everything down, schooling, your career, your running for council, what is the essence of Charlaine Tso?
I wish you could ask my community members that. Again, trying to remain humble, but Charlaine is, I'm trying to remain humble, but poised, integrity, and just working with diligence and compassion for our community members. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then have my work speak for itself.
That's awesome. So if I was in your district, right? If I was in your from your chapter, why should I vote for you?
I'm a new voice. I have a different way of thinking. I'm a woman. I have compassion for all. People have different levels of compassion. People have different levels of understanding. People have different limits of listening. People have different perspectives. People have different teachings. But give me a chance and have faith and hope in me. And then, again, everything that I've set out to say I will do, it becomes true. And if you're somewhat doubting me as a leader, we should all doubt all leaders. Of course, it's a scary position. It's scary to put the future of our people into somebody's hands. But why not give me a chance in making it better? Why not allow me to take that position? Why are you fearing me as well as other people? But rather, I would just have you have more faith than fear in me. That's all I can say. My work will speak for itself.
Nice. I like that. So how can people contact you?
My Facebook page, Charlaine Tso, again, for Navajo Nation Council Delegate 18. And send me a message. I will send you my direct phone number. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me a few questions. I sometimes the work day is a little bit slow, so I do have free time on my hands. And my family, my friends, by clan-wise. If you guys have any questions, connect with me. I'm your age. I would love to expand more into the youth community. And just reach out to me Facebook. And that's the only social media that I can handle right now. It's quite a busy time. So people, just bear with me. More posts are coming. More videos are coming. I'm doing that. Besides that, I go back home. I help out with our livestock. The bend we're kind of late into the season of shearing. We're still doing that. So if you guys can bear with me a few more days to get everything in running. But again, I would love to connect with you guys. Mr. Deswood, I appreciate the interview.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Not at this point, no. But yes, I'll just make an announcement. August 5th, I am having a council delegate rally in Montezuma Creek. And that's going to be August 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you guys can come out and see me, meet with me, chat with me, hear me speak, hear my platform, I would love to do that. I'll be sure to feed you. Let's see, this coming weekend, Saturday, July 14th, I'm having a meet and greet in Tisasmas at the trading post next to Hope McDonald. July 21st. I'm attending the President's Forum in Montezuma Creek again. All the presidents, I think 18, 19, they're running for presidency. They're going to be there. And I'm going to set up my canopy there. Again, so come and see me, meet me. Even if you're young, you're very curious. Who's Charlaine? What does she do? How is she like? How does she talk? Come see me. And I would really like to hear your concerns. I need to hear your concerns. As in my Facebook post, I'm still listening, so talk to me.
Thanks. That's pretty powerful. So we're all set. If you could send me a picture for the background of the podcast so that when I post it, people can look at it and be like, oh, this is Charlaine, and then they can click on it and then they can listen to it.
Perfect.
But so if you're ever in Farmington, I actually would like to do a video with you.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, you could say, hey, vote for me, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Excellent. I would appreciate that.
Absolutely. The actual Facebook for 21st Century Native Leaders has almost 8,000 followers, and I believe in what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
It's pretty powerful, and we need young people like you out there pushing us forward, and take that education that you've I guess earned, and we need council delegates that are educated. They need to understand how the modern world works. My dad used to be a council delegate from Lukachugai. My Nullishki Husky was a council delegate for Brown Rock as well. And then on my mom's side, my Che was Raymond Nakai.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, you look at that, and people need to bring new ideas back to our nation, like what we've learned out in the modern world. And I think you're going to do a good job doing that. That's why I said I would mind doing a video for you, with you, to get your name out there, and for some exposure and such. But I mean, just keep going. I mean, it's powerful, and I think the message that you're trying to push out there, and your platform is amazing. Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm not too sure if you make it to Farmington, but my family, we live in Farmington. We're up in Denver right now. My wife just started her PhD program at Colorado State. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Can you extend my congratulations to her? That is huge.
Absolutely.
That is huge. That is great.
So, but we're here, and like I said, if you're ever up in Farmington area, just send me a message, and then
I'll be there every weekend from here to August 18th. So I'll definitely be in touch.
Okay.
I definitely have some free time in between events too. So
Okay, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and good luck, and I'll definitely, if you share stuff on Facebook, I'll definitely share it with my following on Instagram, Twitter. I
perfect.
can't remember what else I'm on, but I only do it for the podcast and to push this out there. So,
Gotcha.
all right.
Well, I appreciate it. Nana, and everybody be sure that you are registered to vote and vote for Charlaine Tso, Council Delegate.
Awesome. Go on it.
Go on it.
Oh, here you go. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Like my page on Facebook for daily inspirational quotes with pictures from Indian country and for other podcast interviews with successful Native or Indigenous people.